DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Remember, you got a chance to win every week. Win Ticket Wednesdays. You can win a 4-pack to see the Bees before the season ends. Coming up Wednesday, listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win Bees tickets. We're counting it down for that ballpark, PK. Decades of going to that ballpark and staring at Mount Olympus. It's going to be a different view. Same mountains, different view.
Well, you're going to be longer away. You're talking about the new ballpark? Because all professional baseball associated with MLB have to face east.
They will be facing the Wasatch.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a fact. That's why I keep saying when we get that ballpark and the All-Star game comes here, it's going to be, this is unbelievable. I guarantee you. Some kid right now who's in the 5th grade is going to be there in the 30s, and he's going to say, this is incredible, this view. No doubt about it, because it's going to, it's a
decade away, 2034.
Yeah, I was talking earlier in the week, Bob Nightingale, USA Today. I don't know him, but I know people who are really good friends with him. And so I read his stuff every week. He had it in last week again. The 2 leaders are Nashville and SLC.
And the commissioner said start the process in 29. So first year, 2031 makes sense. And usually they give a ballpark a couple years for a little shakedown cruise before they put an all-star game in it.
Yeah, 31 I think would be the earliest because...
we're going to have to wait till 32?
Well, the Vegas park, they're saying 3 years.
Yeah. No, all right, fine.
Or maybe we build it, start building it ahead of time. Demand that it comes here. Who knows? And do they have the opening and closing ceremonies of the Olympics there? Possible.
2034.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean, I'll be dead by then, so it won't matter.
You'll be in Arizona. It'll be too cold. It'll be winter. You'll be up here for the baseball in the summer, down there for the golf in the winter.
Nah, I'll be still rolling out of the sack, coming in. What's trending?
All right.
Coach Scally, you got a minute?
Talking to the guy who just wants to be Darius Lassiter when he grows up. Remember that 1,500-yard season he had? Nobody saw it coming, except for Darius.
You're projecting to 2024. That'd be cool.
You spoke with Darius Lassiter. He's going to join us every week all year long. We didn't used to be able to do that, but NIL, new times, we get to do that.
He's excited about doing it.
We've had fun with different players from different schools coming on.
Yeah. He's ready to go. He's a senior. He understands the value of getting his name out there. He understands the value of public speaking. He understands that you have to be able to present yourself in a certain way in order to have a successful life, whether you're in the NFL, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a car dealer, or whether you're a school teacher, whatever it might be. It's always fun to talk to young people who understand, I got to get going here, and I got to make something of this, and he's that guy. Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best.
PK with Darius Lassiter after practice yesterday in Provo.
You're ready to be a radio star once a week with DJ and PK in the morning, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
When they approached you about it, what did you think?
I just felt like it'd be a good opportunity just to kind of get face and name out there, and just to kind of see what it has to offer me.
Now, how did you get to be, talking to the guys, the sports information people and some others? You said, oh, yeah, you should get Lassiter on because he's a real good interview. As you're growing up, how do you think you got comfortable speaking with people?
I kind of just at first, I kind of wasn't always comfortable with speaking in front of interviews and kind of just anything like public speaking, like in class and things like that. But my dad always taught me if you want to be great and go to the NFL, these things are gonna happen. So you kind of just gotta suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah, it's sort of like maybe preparation for interviews that are going to come after the season for you when you go through all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's good for you. How you feel now, like if you had to get up and speak before, let's say, the Cougar Club or whatever, at some time during the week, how would you feel as far as confidence in being able to present yourself?
About 75%. Yeah. once I start talking and get rolling, then that number will start going up. But most definitely, just not wanting to mess up and kind of like just say the right things. Make sure I put the team in a good spot to where it won't affect anybody on the team.
How about the opportunity then, not to speak, but to play, because you're at 60,000 people looking at you. That ball's in the air. That number 5 better catch that ball. I mean, do you just block that stuff out?
Yeah, you kind of really don't notice them in the heat of the moment. You kind of just focus in on one thing, and that's getting the ball. It's like everything gets quiet once the ball gets in there, and it's just you and the ball and the defender. So that's kind of how I just tune them out.
Give us your background a little bit for our listeners, and just say, where you went to high school and college and how you ended up here, all that stuff.
Yeah, originally I'm from Newport News, Virginia, but I moved to Arizona when I was about 11, and so I went to high school out there at Hamilton High School for freshman through junior year, and then my senior year I transferred. I did transfer to a school in Kansas, Lawrence Free State. So just to have a better opportunity for myself, just to showcase what I could do. Well, once I got there, my transfer papers didn't go through, so I had to sit that year out, and then after that I just went the JUCO route. I was there for 2 years, and then after that, I went to Eastern Michigan. Kind of felt like I could be doing more just on the higher level versus better competition. So that ultimately led to my decision to enter the transfer portal. And then once I entered, a lot of schools started reaching out. And then this was my first visit. And then after I came up here, I really enjoyed it. And I felt like I didn't need to take too much more.
Oh, so that was it then. It was sort of, once you got in the transfer, it was maybe like a one and done as far as your decision on where you wanted to go.
I kind of yes and no. I had other visits scheduled and things like that. I think I waited like 2 weeks before I ultimately committed here. But me and my family just felt like it'd be the right decision for me, and also I was just close to home where it was just easy travel with my family.
So your family's still down in Phoenix?
Yeah, my mom, like my intermediate family, my mom, and then I got a couple brothers that's just off playing football right now.
Down in the Phoenix area?
Yeah.
Well, did you tell these guys they start whining? This is not what we call hot down in Phoenix, because I went to high school in Phoenix and I'm an ASU grad, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, most definitely. This is really not nothing, but it can get hot at practice even if you run around, but they ain't experienced nothing yet.
Where did you go for JC ball?
I went to Butler Community College.
Okay. And then when you came here, what was it that drew you to the program? They like to throw the ball. It's a quiet area. Maybe you can keep your nose clean and all that stuff. What were some of the factors that you felt like this is where I need to be? I'm a kind of to myself type of person. I kind of felt like this was the best place just to kind of just lock in for the last 2 years of my college career and just focus on the things that I want to do after college is over. And I felt like this place would help me achieve that. Also, the connections and things like that as well that BYU brings. And then really just A-Rod, his offense, just being somebody that's putting up multiple yards and having elite receivers that came through here. So I just felt like I wanted to be the next one. So Hamilton, for those folks who don't know, that's on the east side of the Valley of the Sun in the Phoenix area, and there's a lot of LDS people there. Did you have any interaction? Did that make the decision maybe a little more comfortable coming here because it's not really anything that was new to you? Maybe you had some experience with that?
I can't say that I really too much interacted with them, but I would see them going around the neighborhoods and things like that, and I would just give a hand or something like that. But I kind of felt like just the whole LDS thing didn't kind of really bother me. Even though I'm not somebody that's LDS myself, I just felt like it's just an opportunity just to get out of my comfort zone.
How about the BYU brand? You had to know about that.
I kind of knew about it a little bit because I had a former teammate at JUCO that played with me, Lane Light, and then also Gunner and Jacob Conover went to a rival school in high school. So I kind of
would be Chandler High.
Yeah.
Is Basha a rival too?
Nah, we used to do it today.
Okay, there you go. I think you got a teammate from Basha.
Yeah, Tommy and Micah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, Micah Harper's. Yeah, okay. Those are schools in the area close enough. Then do you think that because you were older and not like a kid coming out of high school, there's a big difference usually between an 18-year-old and a 21, 22-year-old. You think that helped you make a decision because your priorities are more in order, maybe clearer, I guess, than when you were 17, 18?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I really didn't have interest out of high school, but once I did that at the junior college level, I kind of knew what I was already looking for, the things that I was already going to ask Coach, how my involvement would be on the offense and things like that, and then just opportunities to go showcase and win a starting spot.
So evaluate your first year then, which was last year, obviously.
I feel like I played at a C grade. Some people might say I played better. Some people might say I played worse. But I feel like it's a lot more that I can do this year that I'm going to bring to the table, and then just to elevate my teammates as well, just as a leader, whether I got the ball in my hands or not.
Mm-hmm. As a senior, being in the program for a little bit, a lot of expectations are expected of you. Have you talked to Coach Fessy about that? As far as this is really your time to shine. This is your chance.
Yeah, we kind of had a couple conversations. Just my role on the offense. Just somebody that has to just take that next step now, because the transition from college to the NFL. So he kind of just wants me to prepare like a pro now.
And then, how much more comfortable are you in A-Rod's offense knowing that this is your second year? I would imagine that you feel a lot more aware of what's going on and what you need to be doing, what everybody else needs to be doing, that type of thing.
Yeah, most definitely. After the spring, I felt like I had a full grasp on the offense and things like that. This kind of offense kind of hard to learn in just a short amount of time. I got here in the summer last year, so I kind of just had the fall camp just to learn things and get rolling. So I feel real comfortable now that I can help the older guys and then younger guys as well.
So Retzlaff has been in the program for a year also, and it's important to have that relationship receiver to quarterback. I know Bohannon's new, but let's start with Retzlaff. How have you been able to get on the same page with him that's to the point where he knows he can trust you?
Yeah, I just gotta be the playmaker that he knows that I can be for him. Whether it's one-on-one balls or sometimes it may be thrown in double coverage. That just shows his trust in me, and I gotta go execute those plays for him. I'm somebody that can go after the play, go and talk to him and tell him things that we see out there. Like if I feel like I can be the guy out there, I feel like I can go talk to him, and then things like that, vice versa, where he feel like if I can run a better route right there, he can come and talk to me as well.
And how about developing a relationship with Bohannon? He hasn't been here quite as long, but the guy's got a ton of experience. I mean, I think that he's the only quarterback in the Big 12 who's won a title. It was a long time ago, but I would think that, he has the opportunity to do well if he gets in there. And how have you been able to build a relationship with him?
I just kind of feel like it's easy for people to grasp on Gary. He just kind of has that natural aura that makes you want to play with him, and that leadership role as well. The first day he got on campus, he was kind of just directing people around, and then people just kind of just like that. They was just like, okay, somebody that just wants to work, that just wants the best interest of the team ahead. So I feel like man, his connection is just as good as me and Jake's as well. He feels comfortable in any situation where I'm one-on-one press coverage that he's gonna take a shot, even if it's off coverage and he sees me running down the field. He likes me versus the other guys.
How about your ability to block? Because it looks like, and just out here today, Bohannon had that huge run down the sideline. Be able to get that going on to make sure that you're doing your job downfield and can turn a 10, 15-yard gain into a 30, 40-yard gain. Yeah,
just getting in a run game, that's something that I pride myself on as well. Just being somebody that can do everything as a receiver. Not all the times you're just gonna get the ball to use one ball, and there's four other targets out there. So you got to be able to affect the game in many ways as well.
From the skill position, across the board, from the receiver standpoint and the tight end standpoint, how much better do you think the group, not just yourself, but the group is compared to last year?
I just feel like as a collective whole, everybody's just improving each and every day they come out here. Whether they make a mistake one day, they're going to come out here and fix it the next day, or whether they might stay out here extra with a young guy or older guy just taking another older guy in and just being there for them and just showing them little nuances that can make them be better that somebody else might have a greater strength in than the other person. So I feel like everybody is close. I know it's a competition at the end of the day, and people are battling for spots, but everybody's looking out for each other, and I feel like that's what you need, especially going into the conference like this.
Has any of these veterans who've been around for a long time told you about that game on November 9th up in Salt Lake?
Yeah, I done heard a couple of things about it. It's just gonna be a great experience as well. They're definitely gonna talk that entire week. But the feeling's mutual between us and them. But I feel like it's gonna be a great game.
Is it fun to play in those types of games? I mean, it's going to mean so much, and they haven't played for 2 years, and now you're going to be in the same conference. It's a big deal, obviously.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like I haven't really had a real rivalry game since Hamilton versus Chandler back in high school. So I'm excited. I kind of wanted to play them last year, but we didn't get the opportunity, so we kind of get that now and this year, and we just kind of want to show that we can play with anybody, and especially they already got them projected to win and things like that. So we just want to go out there and play our best and show what we can do as a team.
If I remember correctly, Chandler's the Wolves. What was your record against the Wolves?
I was 3-1 versus
3-1. There you go.
Yeah.
Give it up. All right. Thanks, Darius.
Yeah.
Darius Lassiter, wide receiver for BYU, and another Arizona guy who you can talk about the Heat with and escaping the Heat. Were they your rivals? No, we used to do it to them. No rivalry. They weren't nearly good enough to be our rivals.
I think they got a couple of guys on the team from Basher, right?
They do. Tommy Prassis is a safety back there.
Yeah, who's a freshman in the depth chart. An opportunity to play this year.
That was just so off the cuff. We used to do it to them. Rivals, please.
Basha is named after a guy named Eddie Basha, who was a big wig over on that side of town. For those of you who are interested, he was a huge Roman Catholic whose son, I believe, is an LDS mission president right now.
Ah, you believe. You know.
I think he is. He may have been released.
No, okay.
He may have been done. But, yeah, those are some schools on the east side of the valley. Charles Suggs went to Hamilton. Brendan Rice went to Hamilton. Cody Bellinger, just to give you an idea of athletics on that side of the area. So
been a little bit of athletic talent running through there. A few recognizable names.
Yeah, and Chandler has had a slew of them.
Lassiter really moved around. Growing up in Virginia until he's 11, which is where his dad was from. And then moving to Phoenix and then transferring to Kansas for the last year of high school, and that doesn't work out. So he goes to the JC his dad went to, and then to Eastern Michigan, and then to BYU. I mean, wow.
Right. Those guys have stories.
We can set aside the Virginia stuff. I mean, you're 11. You're just, okay. Parents walk in your room and tell you to pack. We're moving, so you do.
I know what that feels like.
Yeah, I know you do. I thought of that. When he said that, I thought, there's a bond there.
Huh?
What? We're going
I'll never
where?
fit in over there. And I didn't.
But after that, those are choices for him. Hey, I'm going to go do the senior year of high school here, the junior college, Eastern Michigan, BYU. So there's a guy who's made 4 pretty big life choices in his early trending towards his mid-20s.
Yeah, I think he's 23 years old now and has an opportunity to have a good season. Looking forward to it. And these guys, you get these guys in these situations, and it's all on the line for him right now. He wants to play in the NFL. Of course he does.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, they all do.
And his dad did, and he's got a brother or two.
Kansas.
One brother's at Kansas, but does he have another brother in the NFL?
I don't
I think
know.
he does.
He does have another brother in the NFL.
So he wants to do his thing, and he's got an opportunity, and he needs that quarterback to get him the ball. And I'm sure that he can get himself open. Can they get him the ball? Can he have a big season? I don't know if he can have a big season. We'll see. I don't necessarily know that he needs to have a big season. I mean, Devon Vele, highlights of him making some phenomenal catch in practice. He was a 7th-round pick. He didn't necessarily have a big season, but he got himself drafted and got himself an opportunity to play in the NFL. We'll see how it develops, hopefully for him, and he's a smash hit. Everybody liked the kid. Same type of deal with Lassiter here. What can he do to make this thing come to pass? Literally come to pass. See what I did there?
Awesome. Fantastic. I was just soaking it in. I want to react. I just wanted to just bask in the glory of that little wordplay.
Oh, so like a Vince Scully?
Exactly.
Just let the crowd?
Exactly. Lay out, let the crowd tell the story.
The opportunity is there. Does it happen? I don't know. I can't say. I don't know.
couple plays change everything.
Yeah.
Can you make them?
Yeah, and
Do you make 'em?
to me, your pass game, you'd love to have a big-time receiver, Dorian Singer, a couple years back at Arizona. That's great. The team didn't have a winning record then, so you have to remember that. But they were on the come, and then he leaves, and he wasn't on Arizona's team last year when they had a great season. He was over at SC. But I sort of look at that position the way I do hitting in baseball. You can look at a guy's average, okay, he's a 300 hitter, he's a 250 hitter, whatever. What does he do in the situations with guys on base and you have an opportunity to bring in some runs, particularly late in the game? So even if you don't have these overwhelming stats, if he makes some big plays, that's what matters. And he has that opportunity to do that. So I would look for that rather than the accumulative stats.
And the tough thing about wide receiver is in any moment does the quarterback give you the ball. Lying around sick for a few days, not able to come in, channel surfing, and I wouldn't normally watch it, but the NFL Network was replaying the Super Bowl. It was the fourth quarter, and I thought, okay, I'll watch these last couple possessions. And they got a cutaway on the sideline. And Rashee Rice is just letting Mahomes have it. Mahomes says something to it. And Rice just says something right back to, I don't care if you are the MVP. I was open, and you should have seen me, and we would have won the game. And then they go to the replay, and he threw it to Kelsey on the sideline. It was covered because he trusts Kelsey, but it was incomplete. And Rice gets inside of his guy, and it was game-winning touchdown. They kicked the field goal, and they eventually win in OT, so it didn't matter. But you have a chance, to your point, to make a play in the clutch.
Yeah.
And if you catch that ball – you're the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown pass with 10 seconds left to win the Super Bowl, and you've got that for life. But unlike the baseball hitter, you're dependent on somebody else.
Well, and the offensive line's got to give the time. Yeah, right. I believe football is the ultimate team game.
Right. And I suppose in baseball you can say, yeah, I got the hit, but the guy at second got a terrible jump, so he got thrown out at the plate, and I didn't drive in. There's still a team element to it, but it's a little more one-on-one. You're a little more responsible for yourself.
Yeah, it's
There's
an
still
individual
team elements.
game
Whereas Rice is like, he's inside the guy, he's got the separation. That was a game-winning touchdown. It's no wonder he was hot on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And they won eventually anyway.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, we'll talk to Darius Lassiter all season long. He'll be joining us every week, and it sounds like he'll be fun. Do a little research into him. He sounds like a talker.
He is.
He had some good lines.
Yeah, he does.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It was dramatic. It was nearly disastrous. But the U.S. with an incredible fourth quarter. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
He writes for ESPN. He's Adam Rittenberg. Utah at 13 and the highest rated Big 12 team. Any thoughts on those two things?
Utah, I think, is about where they should be. Utah's like that ultimate qualifier team. Like, you could put them 7. You could put them 16. Like, a lot of it just depends on the health of the team. Because we saw what happened last year, Cam Rising's injury, being the story throughout the offseason that then lingered into the entire season and just kind of sidetracked them. If Cam plays, he's healthy, they get better luck on the health front overall, and then they kind of maintain in certain areas that we've known them to be accustomed to doing under Kyle Whittingham, and especially Morgan Scalley on the defensive side. That's a team that could sniff the top 10, absolutely, and a team that could make the playoff for the first time.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest. And then listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Beehive Meals got some good food. We'll be talking about that in the coming weeks.
I've seen emails about that. That is going to happen.
I may be eating some Beehive Meals here real soon.
Real soon?
Mm-hmm.
9 o'clock?
No.
Not that soon.
Dinner.
Okay.
No, I don't eat till noon. I'm a noon to 8 guy.
Doing the intermittent fasting.
I don't even consider it that.
Well, that's what it is. If you go 16
but I don't
hours,
consider it.
Yeah.
It's more of the job. I can't eat here. I don't bring in anything. But I understand that's what they call it.
Yep.
It just worked out that way.
Works for a lot of people.
Oh, I'm svelte as can be. Are you kidding me?
Yak, you still doing the intermittent fasting? I know you were into it for a while.
I am.
Yep.
I
Rock solid.
don't eat until I get home from work actually every day. So it's
Yeah,
around noon or 1
yeah.
before I eat.
I mean, come on. I can drop down and give you 25 right now.
Drop and give me 25.
I don't understand why Michelle wouldn't let Danny go to the concert.
Still obsessing about this?
If you consider being lack of understanding, the Bill Walton video when he died. I always think when I hear of Grateful Dead, I always think of Bill Walton.
Well, I get that.
I cannot not think of Bill Walton.
And Bill Walton only brought up the Grateful Dead about 10,000 times,
Right.
so I get
and
why
he
you
tells
make
that story of
he-
the Celtics when he was there
he
going to
toured
the
with
show, and the only one who didn't go was Danny Ainge
Ainge.
because his wife wouldn't let him go. Now, I wasn't a Grateful Dead guy, so I don't know what was going on in those shows. But Mrs. Ainge laid down the law.
She did not like the Grateful Dead. And whatever else was going on at that show.
You think she'd let him go to a Post Malone show?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Do you really?
No,
No?
I have no idea. I don't know.
No, people aren't going to think bad of you, so relax. We're just having fun here. Don't get all caught up. No one's asking you to make a judgment of another human being.
Too late. There will be judging.
Just relax, dude, man. Now back to football. Man,
No.
did you see that third and fourth play?
Olympic
Or
basketball.
Did you see that
Olympic
pick and
basketball.
roll?
Let me grab the wheel here. I'm going to yank this thing there.
Yes.
Relax, man. I can see you over there getting all nervous.
This isn't even close to nervous.
Okay, defend yourself now.
After the constant personal attacks.
We're just having fun. She didn't want him to go.
Next press conference, Angel probably have one at the start of the season. Come on over, you can ask. Danny, I got to get to the bottom of this. It's really bugging me.
I don't know. I've never been to a Grateful Dead concert. I don't know what goes on, and I never will be.
Was it because it was a birthday? Or was it the drug use at a Grateful Dead concert? Or something else?
I have no idea. I've never been. I don't know.
It is the kid's birthday, and you will be at the party.
I just saw that thing from Bill Walton after he passed. There was when people die, there's a lot of tributes and all, and Bill Walton could spin a story as well as anyone, as we know.
Absolutely. What would he have had to say about the USA basketball team?
He'll be missed, Bill Walton, for sure.
Yep.
I think he would think that, wow, that was just
That was a great game.
Incredible competition. And it's funny, you know, I mean, I'm listening to guys talk, and guys, I mean, people, commentators. Wow, they got one superstar, speaking of Serbia, and then they've got one nice player NBA-wise, and then they've got some other players that are a cut below. Okay. So somehow the U.S., if you don't win by 25, you suck. I just think that's unrealistic.
I agree. While you were gone, Jake filled in, and I had Scotty G on, and Scotty said, well, you take the U.S. to the field. And I paused, and I said, well, I'll take the U.S. And I said, but I recognize, by then I'd seen the story about the 61 NBA guys, and they had 40-minute games, and everyone's taking a ton of threes. If you get red hot, this could go wrong. And Jake just went berserk when he came in. He's like, no, there should be no pause. Yes, you take the U.S. over the field. We're dominant. We have way more NBA guys. I'm like, yeah, but
every one of them's an NBA guy.
Exactly. And if it's a best 4 out of 7 series, I'm with you. And the 48-minute games, but the more you shorten it, series to a game and 48 minutes to 40, the more you give a chance for a team that, yes, they have less talent, but to your point, they don't have that much less talent. And the three-point line is shorter in the international game than it is in the NBA, who's to say? Who's to say? And at that point, we didn't know Durant was going to play. At that point, Durant has sat out every game with a calf injury. Now, the last time he had a calf injury, he tore his Achilles. This time he has a calf injury, comes back, and he's been really good for them throughout these 5 games through this tournament.
Well, I'd always take the U.S.
Yeah, but he didn't like the fact that there was a pause. I didn't say yes quickly enough for his taste. And I think that game
speak to
yesterday,
him.
I know. I think that game yesterday shows why. See, Serbia was playing really well. Should the U.S. have played better? Yeah. And, man, when they really dug in the fourth quarter, they were great. The last 3 minutes,
But, see,
it was like a wave crashing on the beach,
I don't
man.
think that's it.
What is it?
I think that the U.S. team is at a distinct advantage every 4 years. And they've got to overcome it. Because I'm driving in this morning, and I turn on NBA radio because I wanted to hear what they're talking about the game, right? I turned it on yesterday, and they just had repeats. I turned it on when I come back from Provo last night. I turned it on, and it was just a repeat of a show before the game. I thought, that's stupid. So this morning, first thing I do, and Sam Mitchell's on there, and they're talking about why Jason Tatum didn't play. No foreign coach has to deal with that.
Right.
Because they know
who their
the
best
lineups are.
Yeah.
Jerry Sloan never had to answer, why didn't you play Ostertag 35 minutes?
The U.S. team is so stacked, and you can't play 12 guys big minutes.
Right.
The math doesn't work in a 40-minute game.
Right.
Somebody has to sit.
So that job, in this case, it's obviously Steve Kerr, he's got to figure out who's going what, when, how, who's got it going on. You know, if Curry's 0 for 6, does he even play the fourth quarter? And Jason Tatum doesn't play, and he just won the NBA title, and Brown didn't make the team, and he just got NBA MVP in the final and all that stuff. So I think that that's a disadvantage. That's not an advantage. Having all these NBA players, so what?
You can only play 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then the other 7 can end up being a distraction if they don't handle it right.
Right.
And then, because everybody's got an opinion, even if Tatum doesn't say a thing, there's still going to be people with opinions out
Right,
there.
that's what I was talking
up.
about this
Right.
morning.
Yeah.
And so you end up playing Drew Holiday, who is at best the third best player on that team that just won the title, but he's playing minutes over the first best, and the guy who won the MVP is not on the team, and I don't know, it's a shoe deal. I don't get into that stuff. Anything that's beyond the court, I don't care about. So I don't think that's works to their favor. These guys, they know. Like, they can tell you next Olympics in 2028, and the Australians know who's going to play today. We don't even know who's going to be on the team.
You can see
for the Americans.
When we went through this, because we were doing the show in 2004 when they lost 3 times and finished with the bronze medal. And then in 2008, and you were saying they're never going to lose again because they've learned their lesson. And now you've got guys staying together for a 3-year cycle, and they were playing in the other tournaments, right? The World, it was called the World Championships then. It's called the World Cup now. It's the same deal. And they've gone away from that. That's another disadvantage.
I know.
These guys did not play together. It was a different group of guys playing a year ago. I think Kerr was there, but he didn't have this group.
Right.
And Australia, and when Joe Ingles came on the show, he would talk about it. They have 2/3 of their team back from the last Olympics. They'll have, I mean, Joe's going to be too old, but they're going to have 2/3 of their team together in the next Olympics.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They'll know.
You're right. And they play these other tournaments.
Team.
They're a team. They've gone back. The 2008 team was more of a team. Now in 2024, it's guys thrown together. They didn't all play. And there's always going to be some of that because somebody's going to have surgery, blah, blah, blah. But the core of them ought to be together, and they're not. And it shows.
Well, yeah, and especially for going forward here because you got a 39, a 36, and a 34-year-old were the guys doing their thing in the fourth quarter yesterday.
Predictably,
and
right?
Most likely they won't be there at 43 and add 4 years to
43, 40, and 38.
Probably not going to happen. So I think that it's hard for them to come together, but they did it. And Kerr's got to figure out, he's got one more game, obviously, to figure out who's got it going on. Is Jason Tatum worthy of getting minutes on this team? Of course he is.
But you got to take him away from somebody else.
He's a phenomenal player. And then the parts have to fit. I mean, Majerus took a team that had some decent talent, but he had some role guys. I mean, Drew Hansen will tell you he could have never played anywhere else. But he played here at Utah, and he's 6'5" with lateral quickness, and his job was defend and maybe take an occasional shot. And so it was a big puzzle. Majerus was really good at putting that together. And look how they came within minutes of winning the whole thing. Were they the best team? I don't know, but they got to the final, deservedly so. Arizona had more NBA guys in their prime anyway. I mean, they had a guy like Britton Johnson played in the NBA, but he was just a freshman at that point. So a lot of things go into it. And it was fun to see. I was cheering those guys on hard. I feel like they're representing me. I'm an American through and through. And I feel like they are representing me, and it was fun to see the Americans. It would have been fun to see Serbia, but not at the expense of America. It's kind of a ripoff for Serbia now because the best they can get is the LeBrons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they would have been in the other bracket, you can get
the silver.
Yeah, they ought to figure out a way to do that. I guess you'd have to have the game after the game. But I thought LeBron just said, boys, we ain't losing this game. I'm not getting the LeBrons.
I see what you did there.
We're getting the LeGold. And I think that's cool to see.
Slow clap for that. Well done.
I thought I was like just static in my ear at first. I wasn't
sorry.
looking at you.
You didn't know he's clapping.
No, I wasn't looking at him. I had the misfortune of looking at you.
The LeBrons.
LeBrons, you like that?
I did. It was awesome. Yeah.
Is that better, the same, or worse? Now I seem like an eye doctor. Is that better, the same?
One or two?
Hey,
A or B?
As the
B
grandson of
or
an
C?
optometrist, I have been through this more times than I care
I
to.
bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Is
You had
that
your eyes checked at
Is
3.
LeBron's medal better, the same, or worse than Diego Lunacy?
LeBron's is better.
You like LeBron's?
Yeah.
Yak?
LeBron's, yeah. Diego Lunacy is a good one, though. We actually used that on the pre-match show after you used it.
You did?
Yeah.
And? Did I get credit?
I gave you credit. Yeah, I said, hey, PK yesterday. We talked about it. Spenno thought it was pretty funny.
Who did?
Spenno, Spencer Warren, who does the pre-match show with me.
Is that the guy who speaks in the accent?
Yes.
Oh, he knows soccer.
Speaks in the accent. He does. He's only a British national. That's okay.
Okay, well, what's wrong with that?
You make it sound like it's an act.
It's not an act.
Lunacy's still solid, though. You got the coach likes it. You got a guy in the pregame show likes it. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, if they ever play again, you can use it.
August 24th. Circle it.
Jeez.
They signed another guy, so we'll see. Diego Gonçalves is coming. He'll play alongside Luna. He'll be in the middle in the number 10.
We got twin Diegos?
Diogo, D-I-O-G-O.
Oh, Diogo. Okay.
And I don't know the exact terms yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be more money than Gomez, but less than Chicho.
The reported fee was $3 million.
And then his salary on top of that?
Yeah, then he has a deal through 2026 with club options for 2 years beyond.
So I think the total deal, second most expensive signing. So
it looks
they'll
that
expect
way.
big things.
Okay,
but
cool.
it could help break Luna free. I mean, the more attackers you have, they're worried about that guy. Just makes life easier for you.
I want to see more lunacy.
That's exactly it. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. A little change. Brett Ciancia had to reschedule, so Yak will work with him. But Jay Hill, defensive coordinator for BYU. PK talking with him. And was it just you or was it the whole media?
Group.
It was the scrum. The scrum.
I didn't get over there till about halfway through because I was talking to Lassiter.
Yeah. All right, we will hear from Jay Hill in advance of the big scrimmage for BYU coming up tomorrow. We will hear from Jay coming up in about 15 minutes right here on The Zone.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
One of the best when it comes to college football for CBS Sports, it is Dennis Dodd.
Somebody's got to win the Big 12, and whoever wins that league is going to be in the playoff. And I think Utah's that team this year. The style they play, we all know what it is, very physical. That's why they were able to dominate the Pac-12 the last few years. I think it could fit in any conference. I think they would fit comfortably in the SEC, obviously in the Big 12. I think in the Big 10 they could play anywhere. And then you get Cam Rising back. I mean, this is a guy we know 7 years, and he's just going to blow it out his final year. I just like the way that Kyle, because of his dad, I think his dad's legacy, he knows how to build a football team. You build it from the inside out on the line. And that's not always the case for everybody these days. Coaches talk about it, but Kyle Whittingham does it.
Catch Hanson Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK brought to you in part by Lumen Technologies. Your life moves fast. Quantum Fiber Internet is faster. Move up to tomorrow's speed today. Go to quantumfiber.com. That's quantumfiber.com. PK, how excited should Ute fans be? Aaron Dunn, Spanish Fork lineman, number 2 rated player in the state. Could have gone to UCLA or BYU. At the end, he passes on USC and Oregon, and he is going to be a Ute.
I have no idea. I didn't even hear of the kid till yesterday. Recruiting is a big puzzle. I mean, you need them, and they're the difference. But is this kid the difference? Hopefully for him and his family, he is, and for the Utes. But in this era of transfer portal, nothing is awesome individually, and nothing is a fatal blow individually. Because if he's great, that's awesome. But if he's not, and I'm using generally, not this individual, you can go get another one and plug him in. Right? I mean, the roster takes shape of so many different ways now. This is an entirely different world. Teams are reserving scholarships for transfers. The one thing I did think of when you were talking about Darius Lassiter, and I hope this is not going to be an issue, a problem, is the junior college kid gets overlooked. Because Lassiter here, and just using him as an example because he's a junior college kid, you want these kids that for whatever reason don't have the opportunity to get a scholarship someplace else, so that junior college, man, has a real soft spot in my heart. Because, and I'm not just for football or sports, it's an opportunity for kids, whatever the situation might be, at a reduced price to make something of themselves.
Because education matters.
Yes.
And education's gotten really expensive on multiple fronts.
Right.
But junior college is one place where there's still value, bang for the buck.
Yeah, and if you're coming from an affluent family, let's just call it like it is. And I know you might get nervous here, but an affluent white family, they don't necessarily need junior college. But my sister went to junior college and then ended up with a doctorate. And you want opportunity for young people to succeed. That's the most important thing here. In whatever form, football, just general ed, teaching, whatever field. And I hope from the football's perspective that kids aren't going to get overlooked because of the availability of, well, I can just go get another kid who's proven he's already played over here or over there, wherever it might be.
At the highest levels, I don't think there's any question. The answer is yes, they will be overlooked. But
that bothers me.
I think that there's always the market correction. And so Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State, A, they're going to get all the best recruits, and B, they're going to hit the transfer portal. I don't see JC guys getting there very often. And maybe there'll be another Cam Newton story. He's probably the highest profile at the highest position to win a title.
But he wasn't a junior college
guy. I know
guy.
he wasn't. He was a transfer guy who wanted to play. And so, but at the same time, if you're in the Mountain West, if you're in the Big Sky, if everybody else is zigging, you got to zag. You got to find your niche. You don't. So, yes, I think we will see schools where they don't do that. They don't have to do that. They don't want to do that. But if you're down and you're trying to figure where do we have an edge? Where can we go? Why wouldn't you go to junior college? Why wouldn't you go find those guys? And then it's also up to those guys, how much do they want to compete? What kind of guarantee do they want to have of playing? You know, all that has to weigh into it.
Yeah.
And we've seen both Utah and BYU go get the offensive player of the year in Southern California and the offensive player of the year in Northern California, and they both had to start. Well, Retzlaff had to start more than one game, but at Utah they had to start in one game against Colorado. So they're out there. They're not as high profile as they used to be. The schools, I mean, man, in 25, 30 years ago, Ronnie Mack seemed to live on junior college running backs. He had a few high school freshmen who did well, but there were a lot of JC guys in the mix.
World was different then.
And the world was different. And so if Utah doesn't need those running backs, if they can get them somewhere else, well, what are Utah State and New Mexico and San Diego State doing?
And that's fine. I mean, I don't care where the kid gets a chance, male
the thing
or
is,
female. They just deserve an opportunity to make something themselves.
Anybody who gets a chance in the MAC, I mean, everybody is treating the MAC like a junior college now. The number of transfers out of the MAC, UCLA went and got multiple guys. Lassiter came out of the MAC. If you have success, that's seen as a much lower level of Division I football. But the higher levels of Division I football want to find a sophomore who is really good in the MAC and go get him and get him for 2 years.
As far as Utah and its recruiting, I barely pay attention to it because I know they know what they're doing. And that's all that matters. And this kid's a local kid, great. It's fun to see a local kid stay home and all that stuff. And he's a 4-star and blah, blah, blah. I don't care if he's a no-star. If Kyle Whittingham thinks he's good enough, I think he's good enough. Because that man and those guys, they know what they're doing. And they're going to get guys. Their recruiting class ranking is not that it's totally irrelevant because we all look at it. But for Utah, they've exceeded their recruiting ranking almost like every freaking year.
Not almost. Every year they seem to overachieve that, regardless of what it is. You know, they're ranked 52nd, they're ranked 37th. Over time, they've been ticking upwards, but they still just crank out 9 and 10 wins.
I mean, those are important, but they've also been never less important. The way you can build your roster. And they've proven a million times over they know how to build a roster.
He's 6'7 and a half, 290. He's in high school.
Yeah, they all are these days, though.
Is this just the Barton story, only a more highly thought of recruit? I mean, that's about how big Jackson Barton was. And he played well, and they won a lot of games with him starting.
Well,
and local guys, I mean, we always talk about you got to protect your backyard, and you're never going to keep everybody. Everybody's recruiting here now.
But my point, if it's not him, it'll be somebody else who's probably just as good. And good for him, good for them that they got him, they targeted him. If Jim Harding thinks this kid is a big-time offensive lineman, I'm on board.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Coming up next, Jay Hill, BYU defensive coordinator, prepping for tomorrow's scrimmage. Stay with us.